I am generally a nice person, but you don't piss me off. Today we talk about that vegan lawyer, that vegan teacher, and her slanderous defamation, maybe haters. I'll claim that she is racist, that she is anti-LGBT, that she is hating on people and stalking them. First, this is wrong. Making videos in response to certain people to try to encourage them to don't harm animals for their taste pleasure. What basically is murder by proxy. Murder by proxy is when you pay a hitman to do murder for you. It's basically how Charles Manson was a murderer. For the people that want to have some idea on what it is. Also, further, those people who believe all the lies of people actually that spread around this lovely grandmother. I wish my grandmother was that cool. I wish my grandmother did speak up against animal abuse. I wish my grandmother was that cool. Sadly, my grandmother is not that cool. Is not on TikTok. Is not on social media. And that's gone away. But yeah, to the point. If you want to hear her herself saying and answering the question, you can hear it from her herself that she is not racist. And maybe you should also watch some of her videos.
You cannot possibly address everybody. I have repeatedly on TikTok made videos constantly saying that I believe, and I've had it in a little text box beside my head, I support gay rights, trans rights, LGBTQ rights, children's rights, men's rights. I speak out on behalf of men as well, because I don't think that women are the only victims here in society. I've spoken out against for children's rights, children who are being circumcised for no reason, girls in Africa who are being circumcised. I have spoken out on behalf of all of these groups. So to be banned from an app, TikTok, because I was supposedly saying racist and homophobic things, I wasn't. And I repeat myself and over again. And I'm sorry if for those of you who are watching these videos who hear me saying this over and over again, but what's the most important here is that we stop censoring people. Censorship is wrong. It is not okay. And I have noticed here on YouTube that people will speak out and say, oh yeah, censorship is wrong. And the only reason that they're speaking out is because they themselves have had some strikes against them and they don't want to be censored. And so in that way, we agree that they don't want to be censored. But when it comes to them censoring their mouth and not blurting out overt lies, I'm not talking about the people who joke around and tease each other, okay? That part's fine. We all tease each other. And some of our thumbnails are a bit clickbaity-ish. It's a bit part of the game. But to overtly lie in a way that is just like cruel and mean, I mean, I don't understand. How can the rest of you sit by and let that happen and not call these people out? So in this New York Post article, they refer to the petition from before, and they talk about saying things that I was homophobic and that I made. Just have a look at what they're saying in the Post article.
Furthermore, people, I think you should do your research more a little bit before you believe something of an article today. Because sadly, animal agriculture have a lot of power today. Have a lot of nasty power. I want to manipulate you in believing that bad is good and good is bad. Because that's their business. Replace people. Replace the cows in this video.
It's not comfortable for the cow to have
with
an arm
pigs
shoved into her
or
near shoulder
with
deep.
dogs.
So they
Imagine
have
that
to be
somebody
held
does
down
it to you,
for safety reasons,
dogs.
apparently. One of the most disturbing parts of this whole process is the cow's age. We're talking about very young, vulnerable animals. How confused and scared they must be. With the help again of the popular Farmers Weekly magazine, here's a step-by-step process for the legally sanctioned sexual abuse of cows.
Imagine that somebody does that to your dog and cat.
Is artificial insemination,
Imagine that
which is
somebody
the
does
veterinary
that to your
procedure
cat.
of placing semen into the uterus.
First, stick on a full-length
Or to
arm
you.
glove and lubricate it. The farmer
This
will
is
then
rape.
prepare the cow by wiping clean
This
her
is what
vulva with
you're
a
paying
paper
for
towel.
when you
Now,
eat
they'll
animals.
form a cone with their fingers and insert their arm into the rectum of the cow while
When you
keeping
drink
the towel
cow's
aside.
milk.
Of course, not forgetting to work out any excess poop.
Here you can see there's manure inside the rectum. So the first thing I'll do is clean out that manure and then try to clear out any air or anything. From here,
This is why I'm vegan.
I can clean out
Because
any
I don't
manure
want to support stuff like this.
that's in their rectum.
It's disgusting. Read nothing?
Now, they'll locate the cervix of the cow
It's not
through
hard
the
to
wall
not
of the
support
anus
this.
and use
Just
downward
buy
elbow pressure to part the lips
plant-based
of the
products.
vulva and
Plant-based
guide in the
alternatives.
AI gun until there's a release of resistance. The semen will be deposited near the uterine horns, where the cervix ends and the uterus begins.
The end goal is to get your gun through the rings of the cervix into the uterus and then deposit the semen right there.
I hope you a little bit understand why vegans sometimes get upset when people talk and say in the comments of our videos, but bacon though. Serious? That bacon was once a beautiful innocent animal. I don't want to be your food. I want to be free, just like your dog and cat and your children. They don't want to be put into a small battery cage condition. They don't want to be put in concentration camp-like conditions where they're not can move and then slaughtered in the most satanistic way imaginable. Throat slit, hanging upside down, or the gas chamber. And then bullied by those scumbags. Yeah, those scumbags deserve to be punished.
After
But you pay for
impregnation,
them.
sows will be
You pay for this. All the stuff that Joey Copstrong is talking about in this video. Of the sexual molestation of innocent animals. Places of torture. And iron bars. This is why
pigs are known to suffer deep psychological trauma.
this stuff is like this is This stuff is why people like me, that vegan lawyer, that vegan teacher, Freddy the Banana Girl, and many more are vegan. And if you have a heart, use that heart instead of being cold. I think it is cool and amazing to be cold-hearted, to be having no emotions, to be cold to the suffering of others, be apathetic. There's nothing cool about being apathetic. There's nothing cool about being apathetic and not caring about the world, only care about yourself. Being a little selfish narcissist. There's nothing cool about being a narcissist to those living beings. And if you think that sounds hard, and imagine how it is to be an animal in those places we call animal agriculture.
In confined spaces. Pigs are usually clean animals, but are forced to live in their own waste.
So why do you think? Why do you, all your people, all your anti-vegans, why do you think it is cool? Why is it cool to you? I'm talking about like Butterboy and all the other anti-vegan trolls. Because you want to give people good things for the bad habits? You want the world not to be a better place? Because you are scared for change? Do you make what makes you a good person is actually your actions. People like me, the vegan teacher, vegan lawyer, and Free the Banana Girl, and other people are speaking up for the oppressed living beings that are systematic oppressed by our system, with all the billboards all everywhere praising the torturing of animals, from McDonald's to Burger King to all the smug chefs praising the murder of animals, and a douchebag of a chef Ramsfield, or they even make a video eating a burger in a jerk move to response to that vegan teacher. Shame on him. Shame, I say. Yes, about defamation indeed. Defamation, calumny, blaming, slander are terms as making false statements and about some person, specifically when you know that are false statements. If you did watch the videos of Miss Karen, you know that she is not a racist. She's not a misogynist. She is not anti. She is pro equality. That's what you see if you watch her videos with an open eye, instead of the eye of a troll, who don't want to know the truth, but only wants to feel safe and hate. So because you don't want to admit that you have done some bad things in the past, and you are probably doing still some bad things today. But that does not make the world a better place, people. Like I did say, intentional spreading of information, defamation, also known as calumny, also labeling, slander, on their terms, or oral or written comment, or false statements about a person that just harms their reputation. And that's what people do. People have sent her information around the internet, shared her mail address and her real name around around the internet. Thrown dead animals into her backyard. I think those things are all very much criminal acts. And I think if there are not, there should be. You shouldn't go unpunished by for spreading untruths about somebody, specifically when it is easy to find the opposite. This lazy of the New York Times that they actually did make kind of video, some news article, but how do you think that will? Why do you think they do it? They want to have the New York Times, New York news, and it is quite embarrassing. In general, I think their news is quite well, but when they talk about veganism, it's disappointing that vegan phobia of them. At least some of their writers. And if you think vegan phobia is not real, I can show you some hate comments of me, or just for speaking up for the rights of animals. People were advertising flash products in my comment section. There are not. It was a couple of, I think a year ago, that I did block the person from commenting and do this to my channel. And that guy did actually make many accounts. He was also part of some Slender forum, and he did send some picture of me to that because he wanted to cyberbully me. Vegan phobia is real. And vegan phobia, just like transphobia and homophobia, is wrong. Veganism is a belief. It's not a belief, it is an etymology, it is an ideology. It is a moral imperative against the systemic discrimination of animals. Why is it okay to make jokes about animal suffering in front of vegans, but not appropriate to make racist jokes in front of black people or humanitarians? Why is it not okay to make jokes about rape in front of rape victims? Answer: it's bad. It is tasteless. You don't make fun of suffering of victims. That's abhorrible. That's despicable. And if you have a hard time understanding this fact, I think you lack empathy. So at least, if you are not going vegan yet, and I hope you go vegan after watching this video, at least don't be a dick and make jokes about animals suffering. And stop yourself from commenting bacon, which is that flesh of a beautiful pig. How we're more intelligent than dogs. And you promptly become mad when people make fun about eating dogs in front of you. I think you become very mad when people make dog eating jokes in front of you. So why do you make them? Why might you make them to vegans? Why are you so cruel? You carnists. Yeah, this is a real world. For the people that don't know it. It is a belief system that tries to deny the cruelty to animals. Tries to normalize cruelty to animals. By spreading the lies that it is necessary, that it is natural, that it is acceptable, and that it is great. Yeah, that it is just the normal thing of just like slave masters were doing in the time of slavery. According to slave masters, if you studied slavery, you know that slave masters were actually dehumanizing or desensitizing the blacks in the United States and in Africans and also some white people, because Arabs also did have slavery and have still slavery. Not the degree maybe that the United States have slavery, but there still are little children sold into in forms of slavery, for example, with cattle, with camel racing. Little boys are then stolen from their parents or paid off by the parents and promised that the child would have a better future. But in reality, they are forced to work on the camel farms and be a jockey for the camels until they are not small enough anymore, and then are split sometimes, or other things that are happen to them. They're forced to work on farm or something like that. But that's not what this video is about. Carnism is like white supremacism. It is based on arbitrary discrimination. In the case of white supremacism, the white supremacists believe that white people are better than black people. The carnists believe that certain animals are more important than other animals. The carnists think that dogs and cats are deserving of protection based on the arbitrary criteria that we are grown up with dogs and cats in the Western society most of the time. But pigs and cows, there are not, and there can be eaten. That's what carnists tells us. It learns us confusion. It learns or destruction. It learns to be a bigot. That's what it basically is. Because there is no moral reason why you should be against the exploitation of one animal and be for the exploitation of another. Animals are here for their own. Animals are not here for us. Just like women are not here for men. Just like blacks are not here for whites, and whites are not here for blacks. Gay people are not here to be punching bags for heterosexual people with an anger problem. Also, All Earthlings are here for their own reasons. It's time to wake up. It's time to it's time to stop with the defamation of vegan activists. It's time to stop slandering Joey Carbstrong, bring up his bad history, and actually celebrating how he's grown into a better person. The crime is not to have been once a problematic people. You can change. The crime is to stay a problematic people or person. So all the people that troll that the vegan teacher and other activists on YouTube and other platforms or real life, grow some empathy, grow some strength, speak up against oppression, speak up against the systemic discrimination and slaughter of billions and billions of animals. 7 billion. 77 billion. Land animals. Are killed any year for a taste of a couple of minutes. For the addiction of gluttony. For pure 100% selfishness. You need to stop. Go vegan. Support organizations and people you think that are truly care about the future. That truly care about equality, sustainability, like Sea Shepherds. And me, check out my video also about the cattle industry. I have many videos about the cattle industry and how toxic it is. This is my video. This is one of my videos on it's the cattle from grass feed also produce more methane. It is better for the cows, but it produces more methane because the methane is produced in the ruminant stomach of those animals. So sadly, the animals produce more methane on grass feed. Also, according to this report, around 70% of all the 70 to 75% of all the rainforest destruction is because of animal agriculture. And that's quite easy to understand if you are a bit of a realist instead of a fantasist. Because the animals are not breatharians. They don't live on air and water. People. They don't live on air and water. They need to eat just like me, just like you. The majority of the food right now is feed to livestock. We can feed the whole world under one circumstance. Anybody need to be vegan. And how says that? Now, the United States Department of Agriculture. And if you don't believe me, maybe collected an email that Gary Yourofsky did get from them. Maybe I show it you now. Before I'm gonna off and let you rest with this information. Do you see it? Even the Council for Agriculture, Science and Technology acknowledge that America can feed 10 billion people with the available cropland of the United States currently used. Under one circumstance, anybody need to be vegan. 1 acre of land can produce 40 billion, 13,000 pounds of carrots, 40,000 pounds of potatoes, 50,000 pounds of tomatoes. However, this can only, at best, produce 250 pounds of flesh. And why? Now, it takes up from 5 to 60 to 26 pounds of animal products, animal flesh, secretion, to produce 1 pound of it costs that amount. It costs 5 to 29 pounds of plant products to create 1 pound of animal product, and this is because animal agriculture is a protein and nutrient factory in reverse. Those animals shit out that food that they eat. Their conversion ratio is always worse than when you eat the animal or eat the food yourself that the animals eat. Animal products are not the optimum food. Otherwise, do you think that the billion-dollar vitamins and mineral pharmaceutical industry gets rich from some couple of vegans and not from billions and millions of or billions of people that eat the standard Western American diet? There's a drugstore on any street corner in the United States selling pharmaceuticals and multivitamins to anybody. And it is the country where we eat the most amount of animal products. So, can it be that animal products are totally worthless when it comes to nutrition and have very little to no nutritional value whatsoever? Go vegan. Stop filtering your nutrients towards somebody else's body and stop harming animals. Be a true tough guy or tough girl instead of a bully.